continue our book, which is full of insights, Celestine Prophecy, written by James Redfield. So slowly we are heading towards all the insights, going deeper into the insights with a little bit of storyline. So in the last session, we are in the fourth insight, Masters. So still we are continuing the fourth insight. So we are in the last session we have we noticed how the domination, or how the energies that we exchange from each other. So, and the story about the Chris, and the story about the drama which went on the owner's family, his wife and with the daughter. So, and later, and now they all the Chris. So he decided to visit Vincente Gardens, and Will and James, they started their journey to Kula. So now, so Will looked closely at James. So they started their journey in the jeep, in the Will's jeep. So Will looked closely at James and asked what he had learned from Chris. So because he has already learned 8 insights, and now he is in search of 9th one. So he understands. So learning. So when we connect with people, so that means we have to learn from them. There is one or anything, so many things we have to learn from each other. So one of the message that received from Sri Rama, so he also mentioned the same, that he has connected with each and every one from his childhood till his last breath. So he learned from each and every being, he said. So this word, so in our journey, we meet so many people, we meet so many, like not only the people, we like the connection happens with the nature also. So this is what we have to question ourselves. So the same question the Will has asked James, because James is in the learning process. So he asked, so what you have learned from Chris? So the Chris character has ended in the last session. So he went, and he's not going to meet again Will and James. So then James said that we humans, although we are unconscious of it, have the tendency to control and dominate others. We want to win the energy that exists between people. It builds us up, somehow makes us feel better. So this is what James has shared. So this is what I have learned from Chris. And is this the fourth insight? So James asked Will. So he said, he looked at James and said, Will looked at James and said, not quite. You have seen the energy flow between people, but I'm not sure you know how it feels when it happens to you. So this is what, Masters, this is what, no, unless we experience, unless we go through that, we can't understand those insights properly into the deep. So knowing and understanding, there are two different aspects. So this is what Mahavtar Babaji explained. We all know so many things, or we know certain wisdom, but knowing is not enough. Understanding is enough. Understanding is what we need. So Mahavtar Babaji then said, you have to understand. So understanding comes when we experience that. So here the Will said, unless you I don't know. So now you are, now you have understood, but I am not sure until you experience. So how you take it? So then Bill got, this answer. With this answer, James was got frustrated. So then tell me how it feels, James said, growing exasperated. So you excuse me of not talking. So every time Will keep silence, and James always said, so he indirectly sensed that he also must keep that silence. He also must maintain that silence. So he said, so Will said, you excuse me of not talking. Getting information out of you is like pulling teeth. I have been trying for days to find out more about your past experiences with the manuscript, and all you do is to put me off. So this what, because Will always maintained silence. Then Will laughed and said, so we had a deal, remember? I have a reason for being secretive. One of the insights concerns how to interpret the events of one's past life. This we have to remember, Master. One of the insights concerns how to interpret the events of one's past life. It is a process of becoming clear about who you are, what you are here on this planet to do. I want to wait until we reach this insight before we discuss my background. Okay, so this is what Will has shared. For this is so unless we even when we ask the enlightened masters, so when we ask any suggestions or when we ask about, when we want to discuss something, so they reveal only to the part that we understand. So this has happened with Mahavatar Babaji. So when I question, sometimes I used to feel that silence from him. So then he reveals, so until the time is right to share with you, so it's not the right time, so wait until the for the right time. So so we also have to understand this. So when we share with others, well, whatever we know, so we share everything, but what the purpose we are sharing is to make sure that the other person understands. So even the emotions, so when we express certain emotions, so we have to know, is the other person, the opposite person, is ready to receive that, ready to take it or not. So yes, okay, and continuing the story, for reminder of the morning, so they rode in silence. So they had traveling, and around noon they pulled over at an overlook that afforded a spectacular view of the mountains and valleys to the east. So they are enjoying the view. It's a very beautiful view there. Then Will said, mountain peaks are special places that can build energy in whomever sits on them. Looking at James, he said, you look like as though you have an affinity for mountain overlooks. Then James shared about his grandfather's valley and of the ridge overlooking the lake, and how it had made him feel alert and energized the same day Charlene had arrived. So we have to recollect the first insight, the first introduction of the story. So perhaps growing up there prepared you for something here now, Will said to James. See, this is what we have to connect with the coincidences, connecting with the past. So Will said, perhaps growing up there prepared you for something here now. So when a virgin forest is on a mountain, the energy is amplified even more. He pointed toward the east. Miles away, James could see two ridges which ran parallel to each other for what looked like several miles. Then they converged, forming a V shape. In the space between the two ridges lay what looked like a small town, and at the vertex, the point where the two ridges met, the mountain rose sharply and butted off into a rocky summit. The summit appeared slightly higher than the ridge we were on. The area around its base seemed much greener, as though covered with lush foliage. So this is what the whole scenery looks like, and they both are connecting with that beautiness. So Will said that area is more powerful than Vincente, and it facilitates one of the other insights. So Will have experienced everything, and he is guiding in a right way, James. So they are about to reach Pula. So Will stopped at a large frame building to get some supplies and gas. So gas is a petrol. So they tell us gas. So there are perhaps a dozen of the road vehicles and trucks, because it's one of the last places to get gas and supplies before going deeper into the mountains. So this is the last point to fill their vehicles and also to get some supplies for them. So there are so many vehicles at the side. As Will went into the building, so James saw a woman in a fatigue jacket. So to his surprise, she is Marjorie. So when we remember the name Marjorie, the character which she has encountered in the gardens, Vincente Gardens, Marjorie. So James yelled her name. When Marjorie was about to come towards James, a young man grabbed her arm, and he's Marjorie's friend. He said not to talk with anyone. He looked at James skeptically, then backed away and went into the store. Then James tried in a stunning way to explain what had happened between Marjorie and him in the garden. So when he is ready to express, but when we remember, if we remember, so Marjorie, she took back the steps, so she went away from the James. So then she laughed. So now he is explaining what has happened in the garden to Marjorie. So about his I mean, we can say it's attraction. So she laughed and told James that, yeah, Sarah has related everything to her. She was about to say something else when Will walked out with a handful of supplies. So James introduced them and all walked into a small cafe across the street. So Marjorie said, they are here to visit a group who are studying the manuscript. When they were having conversation, the person again came and trying to warn Marjorie that Robert would not approve to talk with others. And Marjorie said she knows James and he is her friend. So Will left the place to get more supplies. So this is what Will coming and going out. So it only James and Marjorie having a small dinner. Because when on the travel, Will shared everything, this all his experiences that he had experienced in the gardens, and also he shared about Marjorie also. So then Will is trying to give them some time to talk with each other, to express. So this is, we have to understand this. And it's also James and Marjorie having a small dinner. So James asked, who is Robert? Because that person, but that friend mentioned that Robert won't encourage to talking with others. Then Marjorie said, Robert Jensen is an archaeologist. He formed a group to study the manuscript and to search for the ninth insight. He came by Vincente a few weeks back. Then again a couple of days ago, I was in a relationship at Vincente that I wanted to get away from. Then I met Robert, and he was so charming, and what he was doing seemed so interesting. He convinced me that our research at the gardens would be enhanced by the ninth insight, and that he was on his way to find it. He said searching for this insight would be the most exciting thing he has ever done. And when he offered me a place on his team for a few months, I decided to accept. So this is what about Robert Jensen. Also, she said that she studied only one insight relating to gardens. Robert has some other, but he believes people had to rid themselves of their traditional beliefs before they can understand them. He says he would rather they learn the key concepts from him. So he's an archaeologist, so he's into search of manuscript, and this is what his view. So he wants to explain to others, but there's something fishy here. So Will arrived and handed over jeep keys to James and said to take Jeep and Marjorie to back to that place. So where they are, Marjorie is going and the Robert place, and that he is going north with some other people. So Will gave the keys and said all this. So when Marjorie asked how he met Will, so how you met the Will, then James shared all his experiences starting from Charlene, the first insights of how he how he connected with the manuscript. So they both decided to leave that cafe, and James decided to go along with Marjorie to join in Robert's group, and it's in the farm. It's about the farm belongs to Robert James. So Marjorie introduced James to Robert Jensen. Then Robert said to James that this place is very dangerous, the place where they halted for gas and supplies. Robert said that this place is, this place is very dangerous and so many people are disappearing. So soon they thought to leave that place. So they will continue rest of the story. So how James whether he is going to learn from Robert, or so there are so many twists in the next sessions, masters, in the next story. So I'll continue in the next session, coming sessions. Then thank you so much for listening, and thank you all for joining this we are collectively experiencing these insights and also learning these insights. So if at all you want to share anything, masters, you can unmute yourself. But please, I suggest to read this book, because this is what even the Will has said, unless and until we experience those insights, we don't understand them. And there are so many interesting insights coming. We are going through in coming days, even the clearing the past. It was amazing. So when I got that insight, when I trying to know that, I will share in the next coming on that session, masters. So thank you so much. Then if at all you want to share anything, you can unmute, or we'll meet in the evening then, masters. Okay, so have a great day, and we'll meet in the evening. So meditate and try to understand. Yeah. Yes, Madhugaru, Ram sir.
Yes, namaste, Sarada garu.
Namaste.
So beautiful meditation, and as well the messages that come through this story. The interesting part is as well how the messages in this story are as well linked to various messages that were shared by other masters, like you have shared about Rama, Sri Rama, and then as well from Mahavatar Babaji. So that's quite connecting, because we are always looking at the coincidences and the synchronicities, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So thanks a lot. And these two key points that came through are that whatever your present is coming from the past. So we have to understand that, and we have to keep on learning in every given moment. And as well, that as we learn and experience, we understand and move from knowing to understanding. So very beautiful messages. And this is something that we all need to keep on, be aware of, so that it only helps us and as well everyone else. So thanks a lot, Sharda garu.
Thank you so much, sir, for highlighting the key points. Thank you so much. Okay, masters. So enjoy, let us enjoy. So Mahatar Babaji always said, you have to enjoy each breath you take in. This is what he always says. You have to enjoy each breath we take in. So thank you so much then, and namaste everyone. Shall we end the session, sir?
Yes, madam. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Masters. Then say.